Have you ever wished for one more moment with someone just to tell them things you didn't get to say? Or are you haunted by the feeling and the thought that you left some things unresolved and you wish you can get them resolved, but the person is gone, it's late? Now, for a while now, we've been exploring, and the Mind Canvas, we've been exploring reasons why the pain of a loss cuts so deep and sometimes lingers for a while. So I want to ask a question before we begin. Now, do you think that unresolved issues makes the pain of a loss heavier? Drop your answers in the comment section. Yes, no, maybe, I don't know. Just feel free to drop your thoughts as we proceed. Are we together? Now, regrets can be one of the heaviest burdens to carry after a loss. Whether it's a loved one you didn't reconcile with, an apology left unsaid, or a moment you wish you could rewrite, unresolved issues can hold us captive long after the loss has occurred. In today's edition of the Mind's Canvas, we will be exploring why regrets cut so deeply and how we can begin to free ourselves from its grip. As you listen, I encourage you to reflect on your own journey, alright, or of relationship you've had that you felt you didn't resolve, unfinished conversations and all the rest of that. And please feel free at any point or the other to share your experience with us as we learn together. Alright, I do promise always to get back to you, whatever questions you drop, whatever comments that is made. Thank you. Now, regret hurts because it is tied to what could have been. Yeah, it's somehow similar with what we discussed last week, guilt. It is the regret that brings about the guilt. Now, when we lose someone or something without resolution, when we lose someone or something without resolving any issue, our minds quickly replay the past, searching for ways to fix it. We may have had an argument with a loved one before the past. Maybe you didn't spend enough time with someone, you were not there for them, you were busy and all the rest of that. Or maybe there was a relationship that ended abruptly, leaving you with a lot of unspoken words. These unresolved issues create an emotional wound that feels impossible to close. Why? Because regret ties us to the past, to the moments we can't change, and to a longing for a second chance that may never come. Here's something to remember. Regret doesn't have to define your relationship with loss. There are ways to heal even when things feel unfinished. Now, I'll share my experience like I always do in our programs. I always share my practical experience. I remember when I was in secondary school, I used to fall sick a lot. A lot of my secondary school mates would, as you watch this video, they can relate with what I'm saying. I fall sick almost every time. I must fall sick. At some point, I must be admitted in the hospital. And I remember most of the times, whenever they call that I'm sick, my mom would be the one to rush down before my father would come. The mothers do that a lot. And even when I'm in the hospital, my mom will spend more time with me. In fact, at some point, if my dad is going to come and spend some time with me in the hospital, I'll be asking, where is mommy? I prefer mommy to stay with me than daddy because, of course, as she's staying with me, she'll be buying for me a lot of things, yam, local malt that time, local Z boost, and all the rest of those. Yeah. And so I said to myself, when I graduate from secondary school, I was saying that in my SS2, I said, on my graduation day, I'm going to wear my graduation gown, and I would carry her. I'll force to carry my mom up, and I'll tell her how proud I have been. That I am so proud of her, and to say thank you for everything she has done for me. But unfortunately, while I was about entering SS3 in September, I'll never forget, September 7th, my mom passed. I didn't get the chance to wear her the graduation gown. I didn't get the chance to tell her how proud I was. I didn't get the chance to tell her thank you. And I think that was one of the reasons why my pain lingered for a long time. Each time I remember things I wanted saying to her, each time I remember things I wanted to do with her, the pain cut so deep. I cried, I would keep crying and all the rest of that. But like I said, your story, my story, don't have to end like that. Our lives don't have to end with relationships that left, even though there are a lot of unsaid and unfinished business. Now, what did I do? And this is what I would like to share with you. I quickly learned from my experience. In fact, one of the things my loss taught me a lot of lessons. And one of the things my loss taught me was the fact that I'll say this over and over and over and over and over and over again. And what is that? That tomorrow is not assured. All we have is today. I'm serious. Tomorrow is not promised. As much as we have great plans for tomorrow, start today. Spend more time with that loved one today. Say the things you want to say with that loved one today. If there are any issues that needs to be resolved with that loved one today. If there are any things that if you want to buy gifts, if you want to tell them how much they mean to you, do that today, because tomorrow is not assured. And with that, what I did was, I remember then, after I went to write my post-UME, then my dad was still alive. After I wrote my post-UME and I came back, I remember when I came back, that was the first time I was to travel out of the house alone. My dad came back. When my dad goes to pick me in the park, my dad hugged me, and I hugged him so tightly, and I said thank you to him for everything, for being there. My dad didn't understand what I was saying, but I was saying that because of what I have learned. And so when my dad passed, I had no unresolved issues with him. No, I had no unsaid words. In fact, it was like I've made peace. Are we together? So that's the things you should do as a way of healing from all these regret, unfinished words. I'm talking about in your step forward, actually. Now, how do we heal from the current regret and pain that I feel right now because of an unfinished conversation, unfinished words? So here are some tips I'm going to bring out to you quickly. Number one is, I want you to acknowledge what is unresolved. Don't suppress that feeling. Instead, name them. And I want you to do that right now. Get a piece of paper. Name all the feelings you're feeling, all the things you feel you should have said to that loved ones, all the things you feel you should have done. Write them down. Acknowledge them. What exactly do you regret? Now, when you write those things down, clearly, that is the beginning of your healing. Step number two is to accept what you can't control. Many losses happen beyond your control. Remember yourself that you did the best you could when you knew at the time. What I mean is that the truth is that you never knew that thing is not going to last. You never knew that loved one is going to go. You never knew you never knew tomorrow was not assured. Many of us, we never knew. So acknowledge the fact that, look, yes, I didn't. Give yourself some space, man. You never knew it was going to happen the way it did. All right, list the circumstances around that the circumstances around you that were really out of your control at that time. All right, and then honestly be honest with yourself. The third point is, I would like you to also create your own closure. If you can't revisit even if you can't revisit the past, you can create closure in the present. Write a letter to that person. If the person is still alive, write a letter to that person or the situation, expressing the things that you wish you could have said or you should have done. All right. Now, even if the person is dead, pretend the person is alive and write a letter to the person and read it aloud to yourself. It has a way of healing. Then the next point is honor the relationship. Now, honor the relationship instead of focusing on unresolved issues, the misunderstandings you have, things you should have said. Honor your relationship. Now here's something practical I think we should do. Now create a memory book. Get a memory book, and write down wonderful things the both of you had, you guys shared in common when the person was still around before the loss. And do that and enjoy it. All right. Now forgive yourself. This is another last point. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself. All right. Forgive yourself. All right. You are a human, you never knew tomorrow, okay? They were out of your control, so you must forgive yourself. Stand in front of a mirror and say, I forgive myself for all those things you listed down, all right? Until you begin to believe it. As I close, I'll say this. Regret is a tough companion, but it doesn't have to stay with you forever. Healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about reframing it with compassion and understanding. So here's my question for you. What is one unresolved issue you are ready to let go of today? Take a moment to reflect. If you don't feel ready, share your thoughts. If you feel ready, share your thoughts in the comment section and write them down. You can write them down to me privately, right? Thank you for being a part of today's edition of The Mind's Canvas. If this episode blessed you and touched your heart, share it with someone who might be struggling with regret. And remember that your canvas is yours to create a masterpiece, even with unfinished strokes. Until next time, do take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.